Now, Fox business host Stuart Varney is, of course, a well-documented enemy of poor people. He hates redistribution of wealth. He doesn't like poor people. He loves his money. So, of course, he's going to flip out as soon as a guest supporting Bernie Sanders mentions the words redistribution. Let's take a look at that.
But you are a superdelegate committed to Bernie Sanders, and you will vote for Bernie Sanders at the convention. That's correct?
That's my plan. Yes, it is.
Okay.
I really believe in his vision for the working class, expanding the middle class, and redistributing the income in this country.
Okay. All right. He's going to take it off me and give it to somebody else. I got it. Okay. Now, young voters.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're going to be more fair and equitable.
Let's not beat about the bush. He's going to take it off me. I already pay 60% of my income in taxes, and he wants more. Please, don't confuse the issue. He's going to take it off me and give it to somebody else. If you think that's okay, that's fine with me. I don't. Let me move on.
Well,
damn. You might want to hold on there, Chief, right? So he says, look, I pay 60% of my income in taxes. That's too much, right? Well, the top marginal tax rate is about 39.6%. Now, that understandable. That is federal taxes, right? Now, Varney does not pay 60% of his income in federal income taxes. Now, there are state and local taxes. Now, in New York, where the Fox News studios are, you can pay up to about 8%. Roughly around 8%. In some other places, it's about 4%. It kind of varies. It's a complex tax structure in New York. However, that full rate, so if he was paying around 58%, that's pretty close to 60, right? But that also doesn't include loopholes, deductions, carve-outs, etc., as well as the fact that we're dealing with something called marginal tax rates. Now, that means that essentially you're taxed at a certain rate only for the money that's in that bracket, right? Only for the dollars that are in that bracket. Now, I'm going to go through those brackets and Bernie Sanders' proposed rates in a minute, right? But my point is that Stuart Varney is being disingenuous. He's kind of full of shit. And because when you look at his claim, I pay 60% in taxes. Well, dude, if you're paying 60% of your taxes or your income in taxes, well, you should fire your accountant because your accountant is shitty. And you're clearly overpaying. But anyway, now with that established, let's return to Varney, who's going to make a moral argument about why he should pay less taxes.
Yes,
we need to make sure
I want to get back
that...
to this. I'm serious. I really have to get back to this because this is very, very important to me. It goes beyond economics. It concerns morality. Do you think it's moral that I, as the father of 6, grandparent of 9, 67 years old, work 5 or 6 days a week, 12 hours every day, you think it's moral for me to lose 6 cents on every 10 cents that I earn, and Bernie Sanders and Hillary want more? Explain the morality of that, will you?
Well, I wasn't prepared that we were going to be having a discussion on morality, but since you want to do that, I'm happy to do it. What I don't think is moral is when my friend calls me, we went to Bishop Gorman High School together here in Las Vegas, and she has become a widow, has had some terrible things happen to her. She's working at Walmart, and she calls me and she says, they have just moved me from 30 hours to 12 hours. I needed more hours, not less. I don't know what I'm going to do. To me, that's immoral.
Do you think that's
we have people that want to work hard in this country, and they don't have anywhere to go. There's not good paying jobs. That's immoral when there's so much wealth in corporations like Walmart and Wall Street. That's immoral.
Yeah, take it off me.
Just look at the level of contempt and disrespect coming from Stuart Varney. Oh, you're gonna take it from me, you poor people. You fuckers, you're going to take my money. Why are you going to take my money? It's really... Look, I'll get to that a little bit later, right? But I want to go through those proposed tax brackets. Now he says, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, they want to take all my money, right? Well, how much do they want? Well, I have Bernie Sanders' proposed tax brackets here, and remember, this is marginal rates. Now, if you're making between $250,000 and $500,000 now, you'll be paying about 37% of income taxes. Now that rate is, of course, for people making $250,000 to $400,000, or $411,000 is about 33%. $411,000 to $464,000 is about 35%. And of course, 464 to 499,000 is 39.6. So right now, you're paying those different rates of taxes, right? Now, Sanders takes those three brackets that I mentioned and says, gone. You're now going to pay 37%. That's it. Those three brackets are all 37%. So those making between 464,000 and 499,000 a year actually get a tax cut under Bernie Sanders. They go from 39.6% to 37%. He actually gives people a tax cut in that range. Fascinating. Now, keep in mind here, right, that the rest, they are raising taxes in the rest, right? And the whole point of that is to help pay for Medicare for all. So these people that are going to pay a little bit more in taxes will actually save some money because they're no longer paying expensive health insurance premiums. So there's a little bit of savings there. So saying that it's just a tax hike is disingenuous because the whole plan is to pay taxes and actually get something back for those taxes. So let's keep going, right? So now if you're making $500,000 to $2 million, right now you pay about 39.6. That is actually the top rate. Nobody pays any more than that. Now under Sanders, if you're in that bracket, you would pay up to $2 million, 43%. Now incomes between $2 million and $10 million would be taxed at 48%. So that's only if you're in those brackets, right? If you make a little less, or I should say money up to $2 million, would actually be about 39.6%, right? Or I'm sorry, it would be 43% under the Sanders plan. Now, incomes over $10 million, or any money made over $10 million, would be taxed at 52%. No, okay, you could say that's pretty high, right? In fact, that's over half your income. But wait, remember marginal tax rates. So on anything, so basically that means that only anything over $10 million is taxed at 52%. Anything over $2 million is taxed at 48%. Now that means that they'll only take 5.2 cents out of every dollar if you make over $10 million. And only from that, from any amount made over $10 million. It can be very confusing. Now, once again, that is from federal income taxes. State taxes are known to be a bit more regressive. What the point is that somehow the idea of marginal tax rates got left out of this discussion. There was no discussion on this, but it doesn't matter to them. They leave it out because it's too much information and it's deceptive. And what Varney does is that he presents this in a deceptive way. And why? Well, it's because him and Republicans like him, conservatives like him, hate the idea that the government is going to take his money and give it to people to pay for their health care, to help pay for their health care, right? That pisses him off. And the irony of this is that he had pulled out the morality card to actually try to justify denying people health care. How dare you take my money so that you can live, so that you can actually get health care? How dare you? I don't want you taking my money so that you can live. I don't get, you know what? You should eat fucking cake. Go and eat cake. That's not going to help, dude. The whole point of living in a society is to be able to contribute to that society and make the whole of society better. It doesn't work if there's just one giant underclass and a few really, really rich people, which is exactly where we're heading, which is exactly the arguments that Stuart Varney uses to keep that system in place and to go towards that, more towards that system, and to prevent us from actually getting back to an equitable system and having a larger, more productive middle class. Remember, you can't be productive if you can't afford your health care, if you're not healthy. And right now in this country, we still have people without health care and people with health care or health insurance that can't afford their deductibles. Asking the rich to pay a little bit more while still allowing them to be super rich, it's not a bad deal. But if you're Stuart Varney It's the worst deal in the world. I won't pay a cent more. That's what you're dealing with, man. What you're dealing with, and this whole thing is just another example of some rich asshole having Ayn Rand values.